Today we're going to talk about WWF New York, the professional wrestling-based restaurant and nightclub that opened towards the tail end of 1999 into the early 2000s. WWF New York was absolutely incredible when it came to the idea of what it was supposed to be. Imagine a hardcore professional wrestling fan, kid, teenager, adult, it doesn't matter, having a place or a sanctuary to go to envelop themselves in the world of the World Wrestling Federation and World Wrestling Entertainment. While taking over the Paramount Theater in Times Square, New York, that's exactly what WWF New York was supposed to be. Serving up what was called to be some of the best dishes in New York City, WWF New York was enveloped with professional wrestling fans. There were screens all throughout the facility in order to watch any type of WWF programming. That included Monday Night Raws, Thursday Night SmackDowns, Sunday Night Heat, and the occasional monthly WWF pay-per-view, or WWE, but you catch my drift at this point. They were even able to televise the UK exclusive pay-per-views, including the likes of Insurrection and Rebellion, where if you weren't in the country of origin, you would not be able to watch those, especially inside the United States. But at WWF New York, your wish was their command. At the grand opening of WWF New York, all the top stars were in attendance. This included the Game Triple H alongside his wife, or an on-screen wife as well, in Stephanie McMahon. The chairman of the WWF and Vincent Kennedy McMahon, the People's Champion The Rock, Stone Cold Kurt Angle, you name it, the biggest and baddest of the World Wrestling Federation were there to see the inception and birth of WWF New York. However, as the WWF New York lifespan continued to grow, it became less and less appealing or appetizing to WWF fans, not being able to keep the doors open due to lack of attendance and lack of WWF merchandise actually throughout the facility. Yes, you would be able to watch WWF programming, but it wasn't what it was originally said to be. And the superstars who would show up for meet and greets went from main eventers to mid-carders, and it wouldn't draw the attendance and the crowd that it originally had drawn during its grand opening. This is normal for businesses once they originally open, however the steady influx of fans would continue to deteriorate until WWF New York closed its doors in 2002, following the loss of the lawsuit with the World Wildlife Fund, which changed the WWF to the WWE and went from a federation to entertainment. The idea of WWF New York was perfect, and it was a love letter to professional wrestling fans. However, there had been other inceptions of restaurants and attractions throughout professional wrestling that didn't live up to par and had a very short lifespan. Those included the WCW Nitro Grill, which I believe was only open for about 1 to 2 years, and following that we had the opening of WWE Niagara Falls in Canada, which had a much longer lifespan but would eventually have to close their doors as well. This makes you wonder what a professional wrestling restaurant or attraction would draw nowadays. Would it be able to keep its doors open with the growing love for professional wrestling and the return of superstars to the WWE such as CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, or would the lifespan of these attractions, even in the modern day world, fail to live up to the expectations and eventually shut down after another short lifespan? WWF New York was the most successful out of the so-called trinity of attractions between the WCW Nitro Grill, WWF New York, and WWE Niagara Falls, but that's still not saying much. This attraction was even featured in 2 separate WWE video games, including WWE SmackDown Shut Your Mouth and WWE SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, which is a big deal considering how short of a lifespan this attraction had in the grand scheme of things. Looking at it from a perspective of a professional wrestling fan, a lifelong professional wrestling fan, and a hardcore one at that, this was a love letter to professional wrestling that I felt like many people didn't get to read between the lines. They were skipping between paragraphs and were never able to grasp the full potential of what this could have been. And it's sad because I feel like there was much more to offer in terms of this market for professional wrestling. But maybe I'm wrong, as there hasn't been anything since WWE Niagara Falls. But WWF New York was special, it was interesting, and most importantly, it was an attraction of obscurity in a world of too much of the same.